where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio.
Yeah.
The world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Woo, 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 woo. Shout out to everybody tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. We are back in the building with a new season of Rally Radio. Let's go, man. Definitely been crazy out here. A lot of things done happened since the last time we spoke. But you know what? I'm back here. We ready to go. We ready to jump on in, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. For those rocking with us, don't forget, you know you're to find us on YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast, the best automotive newscast show you have out there. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. We are about to get in. Here we go. You know what it is. Shout out to my guy, Darth Spalding, in the building early. Let's go. We's in the building again. Yes, we are. We are here, man. Shout out to everybody who's rocked with us. I know last show we kind of faded out. We had a little bit of things we had to settle up, but back in the building, man. You know how we get down, man. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us. We got a lot that we want to talk about today. A lot of things have changed since the last time I done spoke to y'all on this show right here. One of the main things being we got a new president. Oh, that definitely rocked the world right there. A lot of people still sour about that, but you know, what can you do? The majority of the people voted for him, so it's going to be what it's going to be, man. There's nothing we can do about that, but shout out to everybody who's tuned in, who's rocking with us. Don't forget, I know we on a little late. We normally come on at 12. It's going to be from 12 to 1, y'all. We're going to do a little 1-hour show today, 12:30 to 1:30. Keep it a little bit low just for everybody so they can rock with us. They can get all this information that you know that we got, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. I want to say, before we even start any of the kind of music or anything like that, yesterday was a great day for me. Shout out to my wife, man. Took me out. I was able to go out with my fam, feel special. But you know what, man? When I came home, I got a chance to watch the Tyson versus Jake Paul. And I know that's kind of off the automotive topic, but we're going to get into it just a little bit. Well, I did get a chance to watch it, and I think I felt like everybody else. Like, you started getting back into the old Mike Tyson, like how Mike Tyson used to be. You know what I'm saying? Crazy, be looking at people crazy, knocking people out. Obviously, that's not what we saw last night. You know, we saw Mike, the age of 58, 59, 60, be able to spar with a 27-year-old. I still was impressed by that. But you know what? With it being my birthday, is one thing I walked away from with that, man. I said, yo, man, old cats can still get in when you have to. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Mike Tyson one more time. I don't care what none of y'all say. I'm still a fan, man. Shout out to my guy, Tiny. He's in the building early. You know, already know what it is, man. Definitely was interesting last night. There's a lot of things that we're going to recap and shout out. First off, shout out to every automotive club out there. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody who's out there running them streets and fixing in your cars. Wintertime, you got a little show coming up this next week, November 22nd. Lila's going to be at Atlantic Convention Center in Jersey. Rally Radio will be in the building, but we got a lot of things we want to talk about here, man, today, especially just to give y'all a recap of some of the things that happened since the last time we've been on air with you. But with that being said, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the insurance scams. Cats was out here doing all kind of insurance scams and got caught up. Namely, I want to say it was about 4 or 5 people in a Honda Civic slamming their brakes and actually, when they couldn't get the person to crash into them, actually backed up the car so that they could hit them and make it look bad. But when they saw that webcam that was in there, they saw that dash cam, it was like, oh boy, we done messed up now. Crazy out here. That was one thing that I just thought to myself, like, people out here really doing that? I remember back in the day, cats used to get down like that, but that could go the wrong way at any given time, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, man, you can find us Facebook, at GutterballRally, YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. You already know what it is. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us. Shout to everybody who's cruising by the page. Don't forget, drop a comment, drop a like so we can shout you out. Shout to my guy, Clarence Alexander's in the building early. I love to see when people are tuning in. You already know what it is. Don't forget, you can also see this show. If you don't see it live, you can see it on YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. We got a couple things coming for you this time around, but there's also, like I said, we want to talk about the presidency. That also changed. Like I said, since the last time that I spoke to y'all, we got another president and one that's not so happy about this EV thing. So I don't know where that's going to go. That's actually going to get even more interesting in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I really don't know. Nobody knows how this plays out. Him and Elon Musk might be friends right now. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people I was friends with, I ain't friends no more. So you got to start wondering, kid. You got to wonder, is that really what he planned on doing? I don't know. But shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. And also, just wanted to give a little quiet time right here for the car community. We had a couple losses, since the last time I spoke to you guys. Namely, we had one in particular, and I don't want it to seem like, you got a lot of people that was, talking about things that they don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. Only he would know what happened. And if I believe he had a passenger, and maybe they know what happened to him, but one stock F30, man. Car community really lost one a week ago, and that was really a shame. It's sad. You hate to see that, man, but that's just the reality of what we do. That's just the reality of what we do. But shout to him, man. Wanted to give him his flowers, man. I was actually watching a lot of the other videos that was coming on about one stock F30. For those that don't know, he was a prominent in the car community, man. He was doing a lot of things, man. He was on the tracks everywhere. I remember watching the video of him going to Texas 2K, tearing up them cars in Texas. I believe the first time I really seen him was on Mar Defame, Mar Defame's channel on YouTube. Shout to Mar Defame. And the first time I really seen him, he was like, I was like, wow, this is a little guy. But he had the BMW 340, and I'm telling you, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, wow, man, this thing's look actually kind of fast. And it was. He actually ended up dominating the street that summer. And I remember on Instagram, like after he caught a couple wins, he would just use the money that he won and then spell out the car and put laugh out loud. I was like, wow, this guy is just, he's going to legendary status right here, man. We ended up losing a real one, man. That really sucks. You know what I mean? Shout to my guy. Shy's in the building. You already know what it is, man. Tuned in early, paying attention. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us, man. We are in the building early, man. Shout to y'all. Shout to y'all. I'm going to say, man, it definitely was a sad deal. Definitely was a sad deal, man. I hate to see stuff like that, but, we just got to learn, and we keep moving, man. We just got to learn from our mistakes, and we just keep moving. That's all we could do. But I will say that he was surely a legend, and he's surely going to be missed. Surely going to be missed. Shout to him. Shout to him, because that is just a horrible loss. But with that being said, man, you know how we get down. Shout to my guy, Marlon, resident Toyota guy. He's in the building early. Let's go. Y'all know how we get down here, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Definitely was a sad loss. And like I said, he wasn't one of these fronters. He was racing, man. Shout to Marlon. He said, one stock always remind me to always have fun with this car game. He always had fun with his. That's a fact. Rest in peace. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. That's a fact. Every time I seen it, and then when he started getting newer cars, it was like he got the Audi, the TTR, the Audi TTRS or whatever. That was he made that fast. Shout to M Powerhouse. They was out there doing their work. And shout to Mar Defame, because he did say something. I remember when he showed up on another podcast, another automotive podcast, he said he wanted to give him his flowers. He said, because a lot of times we don't give people their flowers who start off something. And that's a fact. We rarely give the people who started the wave they flowers. You know what I mean? Like, and I just think that was very, very important, man. I really do. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. It's definitely was a somber mood, especially over the week. it was just, I mean, the amount of videos and the amount of different of love he was getting, pouring out, people posting videos, they putting up videos that show him doing his racing, his lighter side and laughing. And that's what we always like, always want to remember somebody by. You know what I mean? But he definitely, you know what I'm saying? And that was definitely interesting. Shout to Marlon, resident Toyota guy. He said Marlon Fame did say that you would be a star, and the star he was. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'll never forget that. That's exactly where I saw him the first time. I was like, wow. But he ended up being, shout to Zoom for Zoom. He's in the building as well. Said, what's good? Welcome back. Still just me, though. No co-host as for the time being, but I'm going to shorten the show a little bit. You know how we get down here, man. But with that being said, so much different things happen. And like I said, that was one of the things that the car community had to deal with. It really did. It wasn't really the greatest thing, but, only thing we could do is just honor his memory. You know what I mean? Definitely was a rider, man. Definitely was going out there running in these streets. It is what it is. It is what it is. With that being said, we're going to jump right in, man. I'm going to tell you, we got one heck of a show for you today. And with that being said, we just going to set it right off. You know how we get down here.
Weekly Specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout to Shy, said it takes the loss to see people made a wave. TMZ covered his past and knew it was a moment. That's a fact. A lot of different media outlets that I didn't even think would not that they wouldn't care, but I mean like that it wouldn't make their radar. Hollywood Unlocked, Complex Magazine. I was like, wow, like, I think it was who he was and just how he transitioned, which I think that was like crazy. I think at that point that's what really made it stand out, because it's how, you know what I'm saying? He went out doing what he loved to do, and I think you can't knock nobody for that. I don't care who and what you are. At the end of the day, you cannot knock somebody for going out doing what they love. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So with that being said, we're going to jump right into the weekly specs. You know how we get down here, man. It's definitely interesting. And this is one of those things I was talking about. We got a lot of interesting things to talk about here today. It looks like Dodge is trying to get internal combustion engines in their EV cars that they had. So everybody that knows, they know that Dodge had already walked away from the Dodge Charger. Now they have a Charger EV, Daytona. Who cares, right? But it looks like Dodge is losing money on them already, and they're doing what they got to do to make sure that they get the gas engines in this model of car. So for those that don't know, Dodge was actually making a 6-cylinder turbo that they're going to be putting in this Dodge Charger, but it wasn't really supposed to come out yet. But it looks like they're trying to push it because they're saying that's what people want. They're obviously seeing that nobody wants to buy these electric vehicles, and here you go. We right back to square one with what they were trying to do. If that's the case, they should have never stopped the V8. I don't know what the point was, because you still got Mustang making the V8, still got Chevy making the V8. So just remains to be seen, like, what's going on? What's going on? But Dodge, actually, they're rushing it out right now. This is very interesting, I'm telling you. Because at the end of the day, this means that what happens if you have a choice between an electric vehicle and a gas-powered car? A lot of people are going to choose the gas-powered car. They are. Because when the EV breakdown, they don't know what to do with it. So it looks like Dodge is right now, they're in the crosshairs. And not for nothing, Stellantis, the parent company, is doing bad as well. Chrysler's already on deck to get chopped. And it looks like Jeep is losing a lot of money. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is actually very interesting. Don't forget, you can call up 516-206-0711. You know how we get down. We in the building. But with that being said, Dodge look like they about to tank, man. I don't know what's going to happen with them right there. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. You already know what it is. I think that's very interesting. The Dodge, the new Charger, not a Hellcat, just the Charger, is actually losing money right now. And it looks like Stellantis is pretty much like, if y'all can't get it together, we just gonna get rid of the whole brand. And I think that is the bigger issue. Because if they get rid of the whole brand, then what are you left with? No Dodge, I'll tell you that. They're not left with no Dodge. And I don't know if they strong enough like that to make the comeback, but it's definitely going to be interesting, man. That right there is something that we're going to be watching later on because I think everybody's like, especially if you're in the automotive world, I think a lot of the YouTubers and things like that, they can't wait to get their hands on this Turbo 6 because they want to establish a new platform. They want to see what this car is all about. Now, if you're talking about that Turbo 6 and the two-door Charger, not electric, that may be a move, but we got to see. Shout to Shy. He said, I haven't seen one of these, and this Dodge Land. That's a fact. I haven't seen none of them on the street. The EV uncertainty is still a thing, and nobody took that into account. Toyota might be the only car brand not to get wounded. This is true. Porsche's losing right now in the Taycan, and they just came out with another model. It looks like a lot of car companies are still starting to back up from the EV thing, going plug-in hybrid or hybrid. But it looks like that's where they're going, man. This is very interesting. Shout to my guy, Raymond. He's in the building early. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Shout to everybody who tuned in paying attention. Shout to my guy. He said, what's good, my New York family? barsandhoopsradio checking in from North Carolina. That's right. All the way down in North Carolina, South Carolina. You know how we get down. We will be nationwide in no time. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us, paying attention, man. Definitely something we got to pay attention to. Dodge is talking about they don't know what they're going to do. But just to put the gas engines in them EV cars ASAP is crazy. Shout to my guy Draco. He's in the building. Hey, yo. What's poppin', man? Shout to everybody rocking with us. Shout to Jessica Grandy. She's in the building. You know how we get down, man. Shout to y'all, man. I'm glad to see everybody tuning in, rocking with us. Don't forget, you know where to find us, man. Bars and Hoops Radio. You know you could download the app. If you didn't know, now you know. You could definitely download the app. Go to your Google Play Store, your Apple App Store, and download the Bars and Hoops Radio app. Got a lot of different shows, a lot of different radio shows, a lot of music that we play on the air. Don't forget to shout us out. You already know what it is. You see the logo on this side of me right here. Shout to my guy Draco Mortimer. We're back. We back in the building, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. It's a lot of things going on out here, too. And I saw this morning, and I was kind of blown away. Like I said, you already know this is the weekly specs. Y'all know how we get down here, man. Definitely going to make sure that we get y'all some of the news or we get you some of the automotive stuff. But it looks like Trump transition team plans to cut Biden's EV tax credit. Another little hit to the another hit to the EV thing we got going on out here. Shout to my guy Marlon. He said, yo, get down to business. What's the next speed agree? We got something coming up. We got a couple events that we're going to do. Shout to Jessica Green. She said, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to tell you, I had a great time yesterday. And like I said, I got a chance to see Mike Tyson actually like square up. And you know what? It didn't turn out to be what we thought it was going to be, but he did it. I give it to him. He did it. He fought. And he stood his ground with this cat. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said, Trump not with that EV life. That's one thing that I got to give him. That's a fact. He's not with it. He said when he get in office, the first thing he's going to do, he's going to cut that $7,500 EV program. I find that crazy because I thought him and Elon Musk was like peoples. But when you think about it, the EV tax credit, you couldn't even really get a Tesla with this because the batteries were made overseas. And because the batteries was made overseas, it looked like they wasn't giving it to you because everything had to be made in the United States sector of the planet, which is crazy. So you figure even though they did it at that time, they really didn't do it with the purpose of everybody making a couple dollars or saving a couple dollars. And then the prices of EVs went so high that it was like $7,500 ain't even going to do nothing for you. But a repeal with the EV tax credit is definitely going to hurt, the transition, which they was talking about a little earlier. But I don't know how many people is really, really going to hurt out there, though. Like, I feel like if you want an EV, you're going to get it regardless if you're getting $7,500 off or not. I don't want one. So with that being said, we're going to keep it pushing. But it's just something to think about here. Like, what was that tax credit really about? And then, from what I understand, when Cass was going to the dealerships trying to buy an electric vehicle, they was already taking your little $7,500 into account anyway. Like, okay, so we're just going to take this and it's going to cost you $80,000. Like, come on, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Shout to Drake. He said, don't be like them other people. He laid down for the bag. I'm so disappointed in Mike. I'm telling you, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. This could get ugly, man. This could get ugly before it get better, but not really for me. We'll see what happens with them. I just find it crazy that this is how a lot of these things are going to play out. But he already said, though, Trump already said he wasn't with it, though. That's shout to Zoom for Zoom. He already said he wasn't with it. Yo, nah, I'm not doing no EV tax credit. He said it. He said that he doesn't feel like you should be forced to have any different, one different kind of car. So I understand that. I don't think that's fair either. But you know what? Look like I don't got no power to do nothing about it, though. He does. So got to definitely pay attention to that. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. See everybody tuning in early. Don't forget, we are in the building every Saturday, 12 noon. We definitely going to shorten the show a little bit, 12 to 1. Got a lot of things that we want to talk about and run across. But with that being said, we're going to jump into this next little thing. Now, I don't know if y'all remember our very first show. The very first show that we did here at Bars and Hoops Radio on YouTube actually was us talking about, it was a situation where they had a moose walking through traffic, licking people's cars, licking the salt off of people's cars, the road salt. And people were so afraid of them. And I was like, damn, why are they so afraid? Until I saw a moose and how big they are. I was like, yo, a moose is like taller than an elephant, it looked like, in my opinion. But to some crazy news out here, it looks like a moose breaks into a classic BMW shop and just crashes everything, son. I don't think I ever seen nothing like that ever in my life. He said, yo, the moose broke in and then it ended up damaging all the cars in there. Shout to Marlon. He said, Mike in the ring at damn near 60 is not a good look. Boxing is a young man's game. That's a fact. But he did it. That's what's always going to separate him from these other 60-year-olds. He did it. He looked, I can't front, in the first 2 rounds, he looked like he won. And he hit Jake Paul with a shot or 2. But then after that, it was like, yo, B, I need a nap. Aspirin, and soup. He needed a nap, aspirin, and soup after that. There's nothing you could do. I mean, it is what it is. Shout to my guy, Eric Till Blunt. I see you, kid. Shout to my Uncle Mark. What's going on? And shout to the resident Ford guy, Millertown, NYC. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. But with that being said, man, it was crazy. I said, yo, how did a moose get up in there and really start tearing up shop? So we wouldn't be Rally Radio if we didn't play these things for you. You know what I mean? Like, there is definitely video of this moose jumping into this BMW shop and wrecking shop. Check this out, y'all. I guess once they saw him jump out the window, they thought it was safe to come back out. That moose must have been an Audi fan. That moose was like, yo, this ain't no Audis. I'm tearing them up. I've never seen nothing like that. And I'm like, yo, did he come through the window? Or did he just walk right into the building? Because he definitely looks too big to be coming through the window right there. But he smashed up a BMW 850 Ci coupe. That is about as rare as it gets when it comes to the Beamers. And he smashed up a M3, a 95 BMW M3. Like, he smashed them up. Hooves, jumped on the hoods, and jumped out the next window, man. That is crazy. How do you explain that to the owners? That has to be hilarious. Shout out to my guy Eric Till Blunt in the building. You already know what it is. He said, them hoops hard as hell. That's a fact. And shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said, yo, that moose, like, get them. I said, he ain't no fan, son. I don't know how he got in there. I don't know what he was doing, but he got up in there and tore shop up. He was like, listen, man, ain't no JDM in here. Ain't no American V8s in here. Tearing it all up. Shout to Draco. He said, Moose said, Supra where? Supra how? But my thing is, how do you explain that to the owners of these vehicles? They're going to think you're lying. You got to tape that. You got to tape it. If you don't tape that, they're going to think you're lying. He's like, yo, bro, imagine it. Hey, listen, man, I was calling to check out my 850, man. How's my 850 CI coupe doing? I can't wait to get it back on the road. Well, we wanted to talk to you about that. It looks like a moose came through the window and actually crashed the hood of your car, so it's going to take a little bit longer to fix. How do I buy that? You can't buy that. Like, what? So they had to get video. They didn't get video. This would not work. This would not work. But I just thought that was so hilarious. I was like, yo, sometimes the things that you see happening in some of these other, and that was in Sweden, by the way. That was in Sweden. So that maybe he was a Volvo fan. I don't know. This is very interesting. But with that being said, we are in the building. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know how we get down, man. We are here. We are in the building. That is our weekly specs. Everybody knows how we get down. We like to give you the news, definitely for the week. Shout to my guy, Anthony Green. He tuned in. What's going on, my brother? That moose was not a fan, bro. He was like, no, nah, bro. Sorry, I don't care. And I mean, they was all getting full restoration. We already know full restoration is a job in itself. Imagine having to do that all over again. Because Rocky and Bullwinkle done came through the window. That's crazy. That's hilarious to me. But with that being said, man, we in the building, man. Definitely. We got one more little situation we wanted to talk to y'all about. And I personally was trying to understand when this would happen. So, a drag strip bans EV cars citing fire and shock hazards. I think that's very interesting. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop your name, drop a comment so we can shout you out. But it looks like this drag strip is actually banning EVs. Now, I was always wondering when this was going to happen because the mere fact that you got all of this power, you lose control of that thing, crash into the median or something like that, and they catch fire. They don't go out as easy. They're not easy to put out. So now it makes you wonder, like, wow, I wonder, because I remember at one point, or even it's probably still to this day, if you have a car 10 seconds and faster, they wanted you to put a roll cage in it. They was like, yo, now you got to have a roll cage in it. After that, the 100-mile-an-hour club. But that could change because now we see cars running 8s and 7s. I believe I just saw a car running a 6, a GTR with a super big turbo and a stroker kit on it actually ran a 6.8 second. I mean, like, now you got to start saying it's a high. People going to go down the strip one day and just disappear. They're going to go into the future or something like that. That's how fast a lot of these cars are these days. But it looks like for this one right here, everybody knows about the performance or what they call performance. I don't. But it looks like the guy brought in a Tesla Plaid to run it down the strip. And the people that worked at the drag strip told him, no, he can't go in there. When he asked why, it was actually at Willowbank Raceway. When they asked him why, they said, you can't do it because if this thing crashes and catches fire, we cannot put them out. And this is actually a statement from Willowbank Raceway. They said, after careful consideration and investigation, Willowbank Raceway has decided that we can no longer allow road-registered fully electric vehicles to race or test at Willowbank Raceway. We have been reviewing the regulations from motorsport in Australia, actually, NEDRA, as well as the emergency response procedures for specific vehicles. And after information provided by these departments, we have determined that the risk associated with racing and testing electric vehicles are too high. This will take effect immediately. Will only apply to fully electric vehicles at all events at Willowbank Raceway. We will continue to allow hybrids to run. That is hilarious. Shout out to my guy CJ. He said they were scared. I don't know, bruh. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they were scared to catch on fire. Yeah, I think so. But I think because let's be honest here. We've all been to the drag strip. When's the last time you seen a real catastrophe at the drag strip where they had to get the fire trucks and everything out? It's not like it doesn't happen. They're running with different kind of race gas, nitrous, all kind of different things. But the fire department is able to put the fire out and keep it moving. That is the only knock with these, well, not only knock, but that's one of the knocks with these EVs, that if they catch fire, you can't put them out. So I understand totally. They looking at it and they saying, well, you know what? I don't know if this is really safe. It is what it is. It's their establishment. They're allowed to do it, but I just think that it's crazy that they actually did it. And this is in Australia. So don't be shocked if that move comes to the United States, because if something does happen, is the fire department not qualified, but do they have the equipment to put this fire out? I don't think so. They having a hard time with them on the highway. So imagine that. It's very interesting, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. We a half hour into our show. We're going to move right on to our next little segment. You know how we get down here, man.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I Shawn.
You know how we get down here, man. This is our Tech Talk side. It's where we get to talk about the stuff we want to talk about when it comes to the autos and things of that nature. We got some things popping off right here. This is actually interesting. And for those that don't know, you do have the Toyota GR86, Subaru BRZ. These are actually cars where brands got together and they made a car together or whatever. But it looks like people are bringing Toyota and Subaru up on a class action lawsuit for the car's engines failing while they're on the track. Let's get into this a little bit. Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ are actually bringing up a class action lawsuit. According to plaintiff Laura Young, she filed a suit seeking more than $5 million for those involved in the class action. Young bought a used 2019 Toyota 86 back in 2021. In April 2023, it suffered a total engine failure with approximately 64,000 miles on the odo. That means it was just outside Toyota's 60,000-mile warranty, leaving her to pay for the engine. Young's car is seemingly still broken after more than a year, as Toyota has not replaced her defective engine with a non-defective one. Of course, there are plenty of variables we don't know about her situation, but engine oil and intervals, and you know they're going to look into all of that too. They definitely look into all of that when it comes to paying out any kind of money. Shout to my guy Seneca. He's in the building early. You already know what it is. Shout to you, kid. I will say, though, for all our automotive people out there, what's your thoughts on it? $5 million? And mind you, it's not just for her. The $5 million it's a class action. So with a class action lawsuit, everybody who claims the suit will get something after in their investigation. So it's not, even though $5 million is a lot, it's not just for her. It's for everybody who's had a problem with their cars. So with that being said, I feel like there's a couple things here that I don't agree with, right? Couple things I don't agree with. One, you was outside the interval of the 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty. We all know what happens when you're outside the warranty. That's usually when the cars break anyway. And not only that, this is the time where you could actually make the decision to pick up the next warranty. She didn't do that. One. Two, you was racing it for 2 years. Says she bought the car in 2021, and in April 2023, the car broke. So how are they liable for that? I'm still trying to understand, like, what does that mean? Like, how could you sit there and say, oh, you know, I bought it from them? And then what they really trying to sell this whole platform on is they're like, you know what? Toyota says that we could race this and that this is not going to happen and this, that, and the third. And it's like, listen, it's like a unsung or unsaid rule. If you're out here racing cars, if you're out here racing whatever you got, it's pretty much the unsaid rule that if it break while you doing this, that nobody's really going to cover your little racing antics. You feel what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you're in the street somewhere, you running in the street, or even let's say you on a drag strip legitimately and you out there and you racing and something happens to your car, you blow your engine. Do you really expect to go back to the dealership with that? And like, yo, you know what? They should fix this. Why? Why should they fix that? I don't understand how we equate to that. I mean, I can understand if you're racing for Toyota's team, they would gladly fix it. But ultimately, it's not their responsibility. And a lot of people have the tendency to take these cars to the limit without first doing any kind of maintenance work. Don't change the oil. They out there sliding the car sideways. So I can guarantee you it's got to be one of the cylinders. And this is a box of 4 we talking about. So I can guarantee it's probably oil starvation in one of the cylinders, which is causing this engine to blow. But I just think that is crazy that people would actually think that. Shout to Drake. He said, I saw Detroit versus Puerto Rico at E-Town, and this Datsun broke apart, and it took at least an hour to clean up. That's a fact. You go to the drag strip and you see some of these cars blow up, yes. And then they got to go over it again with the flames. If they can't put these EV cars out, then I don't know what they think about. It's crazy. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. Says she was racing the car. Man, she got to get out of here. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't be out here racing the car, and then when it blow up, you want them to pay for a new engine, and you outside of the warranty interval. Come on. That's one of those you got. Come on. I don't understand. So you know, there's been a couple of them. There was a guy, and this one he says there was a topic of another GR86 owner who decided against replacing the engine because the car was entered in a high-performance driving event when it blew. So what I'm saying, this one guy was racing the car, he was drifting, and next thing you know, boom, he blow a shot of rod through the block. What you gonna do? That's not Toyota's fault. I remember the 2004, 5, 6 CBR 1000 Honda, right? A lot of guys was blowing the engines in the motorcycles, and a lot of guys was trying to take them back to the Honda dealerships thinking that they wouldn't know what was going on. So now they look and they're like, okay, what cylinder blew? And when they look at the cylinder, it was the third cylinder in the CBR engine. And they was like, the only way this blows is if it's oil starved. And you know how that cylinder was always oil starved? By wheeling blocks. So if you got the motorcycle up in the air, and you wheeling and you wheeling and you wheeling, all the oil falls down past the oil pickup, and now that third cylinder is getting no oil and it's revving. Boom, you blow the engine. Honda knew that. So if you came in there with that, they was like, nah. They said, nope, we not covering this. And a lot of dudes ended up having to fix those engines themselves. So it's very interesting. These guys can tell. They're not stupid. They look at okay, so listen, the oil was starved here. And now they even have the downloads on these newer cars. So I can only guarantee that they in there downloading and looking and seeing what you did. Very interesting. I just don't understand how you get out there and you want to run, but there was something break. You want them to do something about it. Shout to Drake. He said, my Kia burned right after the 2-year warranty and a month after my last payment. That's crazy. And shout to Marlon. He said they are liable because this is American and land of the lawsuits. That's a fact. I just don't understand how you hold Toyota responsible for that. I just don't get it. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout to Marlon. There's people like that when they have black boxes in cars today. Shout to Seneca. He says, sounds like disclaimers are going to start coming with the new sales. That's what I wanted to get into. So now this could hurt us twofold, right? Reason being is because Toyota can say, you know what? Why make performance cars if we're going to give them to you, you break them and then you want us to fix them? That's one. Two, like Seneca said, disclaimers. You got to sign a mound of paperwork saying you did X, Y, and Z and that we're not liable. And that's crazy. And how do you differentiate if somebody is actually buying this car to drive and race and then they racing them on the street? It's like you just gotta, you can't listen. The unwritten rule, the unsaid rule is you break it, you bought it, right? One of the reasons why a lot of people don't do a lot of work to their newer cars is because they don't want to do what? Void the warranty. There's a lot of people who don't want to void the warranty. My Type R had a recall on the fuel pump. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold off on performance parts. And I'm glad I did, because I know if I went in there with a titanium charge pipe or a 3-inch downpipe pause exhaust, they'd have been like, yo, you know what? This probably happened because of your performance parts, not because of regular daily use. And that's what you got to look out for whenever you have a car like this. You got to understand these things could happen. And if they do happen, are you on the hook for them? Look at the guys that had Dodge Challenger Hellcats. This was actually interesting because The Dodge Challenger Hellcats initially, they were bending their drivetrains. So like when they sitting at the light, or when they sitting at the line, they waiting for the tree to count down. Once they do their burnouts or take off, a lot of them was twisting their drivetrain. The drivetrain was twisting on the inside, and that's crazy. But it's like Dodge is, you bringing it back to Dodge. Dodge is like, what we supposed to do with it? I mean, I think they ended up fixing it because Dodge was definitely trying to get people to buy them, and they was making more money, I believe, anyway, with the SRT brand. But they ended up one of the performance upgrades for that is the upgrade to a Dodge Demon drivetrain. So it's very interesting, man. Shout to Shadow Gamers in the building early. Shout to my guy. He said it wouldn't cause it because I got it done. Okay. So, I mean, what do you mean by that, Shadow Gamer? Drop some knowledge on us a little bit. Shout to Martin said the dealer is always looking for a reason to not do a warranty work. Always looking for a reason for you to pay for parts and labor. I mean, they're a business. They're a business, but you got to look at it like, if you buying, I don't know. It's like, I feel like if you're buying performance vehicles, then they definitely got a sponsor. I think Shadow Game is talking about with the Type R. So he said it wouldn't matter if you had to exhaust anything because they did it anyway. Well, some car companies hold themselves full bolt on, got the fuel pump recall done. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. So they're actually calling me for this, and I gotta go in and get this thing done. But every time I turn around, they're like, "Oh, we don't got the parts. We don't have the parts." I'm like, "Come on." But very interesting to say the least, in my opinion. You got to look at a lot of this stuff. If you're buying these kind of cars, you got to be like, say to yourself, okay, if it breaks, are they really going to fix it? Now, I can understand if it was stock or if because I even saw when a guy got his car flashed. He had his ECU flashed, went out there, did a whole host of things. Then after he blew the engine, he tried to reflash it back to stock. They saw that and voided his warranty. We talked about that here on Rally Radio. And it's like, yo, some of that stuff ain't going to work. Shout out to Drake. He said, why make a performance car that don't perform? See, I think that's where the problem is. Shout out to Shadow Game. He said, Valley Stream got the parts. Let me keep that in mind. Shout out to Shadow Game. Let me keep that in mind because I got to get him over there. I got to get my Type over there. But the thing is, a lot of these performance cars are not made to do the stuff you see in the video. They're not made for that. They leave room for you to do what you want to do, which is why we even buy these cars. Because if that was the case, everybody in here would probably go for a Porsche or something like that. Like you would save all your money and go get one of them. But you buy these cars because they leave room for you to do the things that you want to do. They don't all perform to the upper standard that a lot of them is going to do. And what does that mean exactly? You can have somebody that think they buying a car and going to be a full drift champion without having to change the diff for the tires or the wheels. It's not going to happen. You got some people who think they're gonna buy a Hellcat and go straight to the drag strip and win. It's not going to happen. You got to do other things. We know that. So with that being said, that's what I think where a lot of cats get caught up. And you got to keep that in mind, man. Listen, there's a lot of different cars out here that do a lot of different performance. But if they had to fix every car because, oh, you know what, it broke while I was racing, could you imagine that? Like you shoot your eye out, kid. You shoot your eye out. So y'all seen that one. But with that being said, you know how we get down, man. We in the building early. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us, who tuned in. You know we back for the meantime right now. You know how we get down. This is actually very interesting as well. Shout out to Zoom for Zoom. He said, but how the car performs is based on the driver, because who says the driver didn't over rev, run the car too hot? Right. And that's what I'm saying. Shout out to Zoom for Zoom. That's exactly what I'm saying. They don't know what you know, and we don't know what you did. Look at the GR Corolla that blew his whole engine by money shifting. That's the dealer's fault too? Come on, fam. You missed the shift. You went from fifth, tried to go from fifth to fourth and went to second. Overread, boom, engine blow up. Now what? Whose fault is that? That was you. It's not them. So that's a very tough line. And I think that we got to be careful with this kind of stuff because we already on thin ice when it comes to performance cars or even semi-performance cars. We on thin ice with this stuff. We already lost the GTR. We lost the Hellcat. And I know a lot of Hellcat. Yeah, whatever. But we lost a lot of different performance cars and we could lose more. If this is how we're going to carry on with it, like, oh, you're responsible because my car was outside of the warranty and it broke and you don't want to fix it. Man, that's like you selling your car to somebody, and when you sell it to them, they mad that it broke after you sold it to them, and they want you to do all kind of stuff to fix it. Come on, that's your fault. That ain't my fault. Next time, watch what you're doing. It worked for me. That's what I'm saying. Shout the Shadow Gamer too. That's shout the Shadow Gamer, and he's 100%. He said Hellcat coming back. Mark my words. I'm going to tell you, I didn't want to say it. That's actually a very hot take, but I could believe it. I could believe it because Dodge is losing. As of right now, I just read a story somewhere where there's 5,600 different kind of Hellcats, Chargers, Scats, and everything on different dealerships scattered about the United States. And it looks like nobody's buying them. That's actually interesting. Shout to Marlon. Said maybe she should buy a Tesla. Damn. That hurt. It is what it is, right? If you looking for something reliable that you can spin around the corner out, but then again, you crash that. It's unibody. It's over with. It's over with. Very interesting, man. This is another one I saw, and I was just so in love. I said, I can't believe it, but I'm glad that they're doing it. The 2025 Porsche 911T is going to be manual. I just got to stop the music for that because I want a Porsche so bad. But the fact that they're going to make this one manual is just, again, it's like, they doing what they got to do. They're doing the same thing. It's like they're taking out of Toyota's book. Yeah, we're going to have to make an EV to keep you happy. That's fine. Yeah, you got to make a little performance car, but you got to put the PDK on it, whatever, for these people that think that time matters, right? That's fine. But we're going to make Porsche manual 911s for those purists that still love that. And they doing it. Shout to them one time. Shout to Porsche. Let's go. Shout to Draco. He said they advertising like they the General Lee, drifting hard, breaking, spinning, but taking corners. But you want to drive like grandma. That's a fact, man. Shout to Maul. He said I want her to take up that argument with Elon. Please. He's gonna look you in your face. He's like, yo, the president's my friend. That's how you get down. No way, kid. He like we too busy putting chips on pigs' brains and stuff like that. What are you talking about? That's Elon. Stop. But with that being said, man, the Porsche 911T manual is going to come manual, which is tremendous. And like I said, this is for the purists. A lot of people are like, people still drive manual. Yes, they do. And not only that, I know a manual Porsche would definitely grab my eye. I know a lot of people is like, if I'm spending that much on a car, why would I want it? I'm like, you're not the kind of performance guy that I am. It is what it is. Shout to Draco. He said, look, get you an 80s car to swap. This turnkey business is for the birds. I will say that 1,000 times. And we're going to talk about that when we get to our driver's etiquette because it's definitely up on the menu today because it's a lot of things going on. But to get to this 911, it looks like the curb weight is about 3,300. Bigger brakes, 20 millimeter bigger brake disc, which is great. And it's turbo. Oh, can't beat it. You already know what it is, man. It looks like Porsche is really the only thing. Here we go. If it's manual, you got to pay a little bit more. So the price is going to start at $135,995. So $136,000 that's just the price. That's not delivery. And the cabriolet convertible, which would be tremendous, is $150,000. The base Carrera starts at $122,000. So that's probably where I live. I'll probably just have to sign my name in blood when I prick my finger. But you know how that go, man. Give me your fucking money. I want it. I'm sorry. But you know how that get down, man. With that being said, got a little bit more time left in our show. Got a couple other things we're going to talk about here. You know how we get down here, man. With that being said.
Driver's etiquette. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
So We reached the driver's etiquette. I believe this one is interesting because the state of the auto industry right now, there's a lot of things we can't guess on. The state of auto industry is in limbo right now, from car dealerships to performance. What if they're going to force us to go EV or not? And we're paying for it. We're paying for it. And at the end of the day, it's like, don't like to drive because you're really paying for it. I know y'all seen just the other day that Kathy or Governor Hochul signed into law that they're gonna be doing congestion pricing in January. Interesting. They putting 450 more red light cameras out in NYC. Interesting. That's just NYC. But shout to the resident Toyota guy, Marlon. He sent me a video that Atlanta is doing the same thing. Taxation by citation. They out here giving you tickets, bogus tickets, just to get their bottom line as far as the city. So that's one thing. Last night I'm watching the reports, and Advance Auto Parts is about to close 700 stores. Advance. Now, when I was watching this, they interviewed a guy, and y'all gonna laugh because he was an Audi owner, and I said, "Yo, these Audi guys, man, these Audi guys, every time I turn around, man, he look even more lazy." Sorry, my man Kirk got an Audi, but I'm sorry, man, but it is what it is, right? So they asked the Audi owner. They said, well, what do you do to fix your car? He says, man, I haven't been to Advance in 2 years. He said, if something goes wrong with my Audi, I just take it to the dealership and just have them fix it. And that is where I was like, a lot of these young guys now, they're not into fixing cars. They're not into putting wheels on. Like, they'll buy it and they want somebody else to do the work. They're not into like really building and putting their work into things. And that has struck me while I was watching it. And I said, when you really think about it, the auto industry itself is like in total melee. I think about when I was coming up, my uncles and them, they used to be fixing cars every weekend. My grandfather used to be fixing his car every weekend. Every weekend, he put on that same greasy-looking suit, the mechanic suit, get the same crazy-looking handkerchief, and early in the morning, he'd be up under the hood fixing, I don't know. I had no idea at that time. He would call my uncles and them outside. They'd be out there all day. I mean, you would see parts laying on the floor, but by the time you turned around, when the day was over, everything was put back together, and they was driving that thing. And I was like, wow, man, that was the first time I had really ever seen anything like that. But later on in life, you start seeing it, and then you start participating in it yourself. You start fixing things and, moving things around for yourself. And it made me wonder, like, these guys these days, these kids these days, just not interested in that. That's not interested in them. They just want to jump in, dump the gas, keep it moving. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. I think that with the auto industry going the way it is, if you're a mechanic right now, you have to find another way to bring some bread in, because with these cars going EV, and like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think the next incoming president is definitely going to be pushing it like that. I think he's going to get rid of that mandate, the EPA mandate. I think he's going to throw all of that out the window, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, a lot of people still not into it like that. They just not into autos. And it's like, even when we go to some of these car shows, it's like the younger guys, it's like, yeah, they're like, oh man, I can't wait to get this car, because I want these wheels. They're like, whoa, we didn't even think about that. That's like the last thing that we think about here as car guys and car girls. That's what we think. We don't think about no wheels at first. We're like, nah, what can we do to this? The engine comes with this. And a lot of times we have that idea we're going to do before we even buy the car. We've been watching this car for probably 2 months, 3 months, did a lot of different homework. They're just not like that no more. They're not built like that. That's one of the reasons why the street bike sales have fell. Because at the end of the day, they like, why do I want to ride a street bike? Huh? I don't understand. I'm telling you, things are changing right before our eyes. They're changing right before our eyes. We got to be careful, man. It's happening. It's happening. I definitely wanted to turn y'all on to that. You know how it is, man. It's driver's etiquette in the building as usual. We appreciate everybody who's rocking with us, who's locked in with us. But with that being said, you got to start looking into that as far as like the auto industry is concerned, especially if you have an older car like me. I have a 1988 CRX. I hate to say it, you gotta start stockpiling parts. You have to, because if this is what it's gonna be, it's what it's gonna be. You know? I just don't understand. I don't understand. Shout out to Drake. He said it's cool. He said Orange Man got something for Hogu Adams, got the Tekashi treatment and saving himself. That's what I'm saying. It's only a matter of time, kid. We don't know how this thing is gonna play out, but I know the auto industry is in the balance. They was interviewing all of these mechanics, and they was like, yo, we gotta shut down because the cars are not coming in. People don't want to come in to fix their cars. They go into the dealership. And for what? Very interesting, man. Very, very, very interesting. But we're in the building, man. You know how we get down, man. Coming towards the end of the show. Want to thank everybody who rocked with us, who tuned in with us, man. I appreciate y'all greatly. You know, this is what we're going to be doing here at Rally Radio for the time being. Nice short show on Saturday, but we're going to have other content that we bring it to you. So don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page. You can definitely find us on YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. We got a lot of different things going on. YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. We changed the name from GutterballRally because we wanted everybody to know who and what we are and where to find us. All right? A lot of people was going on YouTube looking for Rally Radio, find something totally different. Nah. Look for us. Rally Radio Podcast. Don't forget, send it out to your people as well. Let them know. Shout to the guy, Cedric Melbourne. You already know what it is. Happy Born Day, my guys. Happy belated, my brother. Show looking good, sounding amazing as usual. Thank you. I appreciate that. We ain't here. We working, man. We got a lot of things going on. But with that being said, I got a special Legends of Auto for y'all today, and this is definitely going to get interesting, just to say the least. So with that being said,
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
Now, this Legends of Auto is actually very interesting. Now, it could be anything at this point, but I wanted to talk about this. Does anybody remember the Apexi Power FC when it first came out? Or how about, better yet, what I really want to talk about, the Apexi VAFC. Now, for those that don't know, it was an electronic device that allowed the driver to alter his VTEC point, his engagement point at various RPM. Now, this thing was probably as high tech as it got at that time. It wasn't really a piggyback device. You just could control your VTEC, and then some of them you could control the air, the fuel, or whatever. But this is what all we had at that point to work on our own. And I think everybody who had a bad Honda had one. You know what I'm saying? I think that these things are hilarious. I wish I had a picture. I'll show it to you. But I'm going to tell you, VTEC, Apexi VAFC version 1, 2. And I mean, it had the blue screen, the orange buttons. Oh, man. I think the first time I really seen somebody dialing one up, and I was like, yo, what is that? And I was like, yo, it's my VAFC. So you know how we do. We go home, do a little bit of homework on it. I was like, I need one, but I ain't got VTEC. That was hilarious. I ain't have VTEC at the time in the wheels. It was a stock engine, so it didn't make no sense of me having one. But it's just crazy. You think about some of the devices that we had along the way that we used to tune a car or to trick a car to do certain things. We had so many different things at that time. We had, like, I don't know if y'all remember the Gretty Profect B. You had the piggybacks. Y'all remember that? Had so many different things, man. So many different things that we had that we was using at that time, man. And those to me are the Legends of Auto of today, man. Because now you ain't even doing all of that. Like you said, you could get a little I would say like a power commander, like I got from my motorcycle. But they got so many different kind of situations that you can have to tune your car. Some of them are tuning them from the factory now, like Dodge, you know, when it comes to their programs and to their pro connection things that they have. It's just it's so much easier now. But back then it wasn't. Back then it was. You really had to know what you was doing in order to get the cars to do what you needed them to do. I remember, shout out to my guy Colin, he turbocharged my CRX with no management whatsoever. Only thing I needed at that time was bigger injectors, bigger fuel rail. And I was shooting the check engine like it is what it is, but it was responding. And I had like a 8-pound spring in the wastegate so that it wouldn't Spike boosts will go crazy, man. It was crazy. And it was spinning tires. Spinning tires, kid. That was crazy. That was such a good time back then, man. This is a thing that a lot of these kids just won't know. We used to just really buy some of this stuff with hard-earned money. And instead of spending some money to have somebody put it in, we would figure it out ourselves, man. It was crazy back then. A Pepsi VAFC.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
That right there, you just don't, like I said, you don't see those things anymore, man. You don't see that. You don't see things like that anymore, man. That was one of the times where you was really, really, really into what you was driving, into what you was doing. And you're like, yo, you know what, man? I'm going to spend every dollar on it. So with that being said, we got our last little segment before we get up out of here. Now how we get down.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Now this Understeer, we're going to bring him down a little bit. Michael Sheeb. For those that don't know who Michael Sheeb is, he is the Mercedes-AMG CEO. And he believes that V8s are not the reason that people buy AMGs and that an electric motor would be welcomed to his consumer base. I'm going to say he's wrong, but you know how we do. In my essence, just listening to this, Michael Sheeb, now this guy should know better. Right? They went to a 4-cylinder AMG and people are not happy with it. But the man says, he says, oh, people that buy AMGs do not buy AMGs for the V8s. They buy them they'll take them with an electric motor if need be. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Ain't nobody getting an AMG G-Wagon with an electric engine in it. It's not happening. And if they do, they not car people. Maybe the people that could afford it at that price, point, maybe. But most of the people I know that own AMGs, they wanted that supercharged V8 or that bi-turbo V8 that comes in there. So let's stop that noise right there. Michael Sheeb is out here wilding. He's out here trying to sell everybody a whole different kind of a magic bean out here. This guy is hilarious. But with that being said, he's definitely going to get the Understeer for today. You already know how we get down because we can give you the Understeer because of what you do. We get you to understand how you get caught doing it or how you get caught saying some of these things. I don't understand how you can say that, but this is hilarious. Shout to Shy. He said, good luck finding one of those VAFCs right now. 33 to 600 used. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy out here. Yo, y'all remember that? Those things was my favorites. It was my favorite. Shout to Marlon. He said that 4-cylinder hybrid is fast. Come on, Marlon. Stop it. Shout to Seneca. He said the AMG LTE maybe light. I saw a walk away from a bi-turbo V8. That guy had to be doing his nails because that's crazy. But in my opinion, Michael Sheeb is definitely getting it.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Shout out to everybody who rocked with us, who paid attention with us, man. We are here. We are at the end of the show. For our exhaust notes today, I wanted to keep the mood light, but it's just something I wanted to talk about here. And after that, we're going to get up out of here. I'll see y'all next week. You know how we get down, man. I wanted to talk about street legends and how much we missed them and how we will miss them. And I think about so many being into this game and doing what we do that we did lose, you know? And it's like, you know what, man? We're going to miss them all. We miss them all. And I could think of how many we seen dominate the track, dominate the bikes, dominate, and then next thing you know, they up out of here. But a lot of them, and we sit back and we say this all the time, they did what they love to do. I know they would love to be here still anyway. You know what I mean? Like, we can't never say that, oh, they was cool with it. No. But it is what happened. But just to let all the street legends know, man, we will miss them. We will miss them. I hate to see, you know, like what we saw with stock, one stock. We've seen so many different ones. We've seen so many different people pass away. And at the end of the day, we just keep in mind, man, that they was legends, man. They went and they did what they had to do. I know they would want to be here, but they reached legendary status, man. But we will miss them. So it sucks, you know? But with that being said, just wanted to tell everybody, man, shout to everybody for rocking with me. Shout for everybody who rocked with us, who paid attention today. I appreciate y'all. Haven't done the show in a little while. This is our new season. We got a lot of other things that's going to be popping off for the YouTube channel, so please don't forget to tune in. Tell your people to tune in. Let them know there's a guy out here that loves these autos, man, and we really going to show you. We trying to make every automotive event. Got to see a lot. It's a lot of inspiration going on out there in these streets, and Rally Radio is going to be the one to bring it to you. Don't forget, we do the newscast on Saturday, but during the week, we're going to have a lot of different other content that we want to bring. We want to let people know, you know, what it is. So with that being said, don't forget, we are out here, man. With that, rock with all of it. I appreciate everybody who rocked with us today. Shout to Marlon, resident Toyota guy. Shout to Seneca. Shout to Draco, Shadow Gamer, Zoom for Zoom. We appreciate y'all. Shout to Jessica Grandy, my guy Anthony Green, Eric Till Blunt. Shout to Shy, Clarence Alexander. Shout to my guy Dolph Spalding in the building. We appreciate everybody who rocked with us, who tuned in today. And don't forget, we'll be back next week, Saturday. You know how we get down, man. We got a different show for y'all, man. I'm going to tell y'all, man. It's definitely, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back here in the show. S.I Shawn, he'll probably be back in a little while. But for right now, just going to be rocking with me for a little while. With that being said, I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. I really do. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. So with that being said, until next week, I am out. Let's do it, y'all.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, ain't crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.